the Big 12 Conference season. Kansas State playing host to the Red Raiders of Texas Tech in the Little Apple, Manhattan. College football presented by Best Buy is live from Manhattan, Kansas. It's the opening week for the Big 12 Conference play with the number 7 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders taking on the homestanding Kansas State Wildcats. Hi everybody, Ron Franklin, and welcome to the Heartland. No better place to open than Big 12 Conference play here in Manhattan, Kansas. Both of these head coaches extremely good. They'd like to get the ball up and down the field. There's no doubt about that. But I think there are some doubts as far as the head coaches and their staffs. Where exactly are they after playing a non-conference schedule that was anything but equivalent to what they'll face in conference play? So the bottom line at Cunningham, I think both of these coaches cannot wait to kick it off today because I'm not sure they know exactly what they do have. Texas Tech does, as far as one commodity, a passer and a receiver that are nationally respected.
The very best in the country last year when you're talking about pass-catch combo between Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree. Harrell over 5,700 yards passing last year. Michael Crabtree won the Biletnikoff Award as the best receiver in the country, the first freshman to ever do that. However, against weaker competition in non-conference, they have not looked very sharp, and Mike Leach, their head coach, has lit a fire under these two men. They'll need to play much better today against Kansas State.
Well, it's opening week in the Big 12, where it seems like everybody's got a dangerous quarterback, and Josh Freeman propels the Kansas State Wildcats. The opening kick is next. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Welcome back to Manhattan, Kansas. The Harleys first, and then following them, the homestanding Wildcats of Kansas State University. And right now, let's take a look at the City X Factor, Ed Cunningham.
Little man by the name of Brandon Banks, all 5'7", 142 pounds of him. Came out of Bakersfield College. Of course, Kansas State spends a lot of time recruiting from community college all around the country. Had 93 catches last year and has burst on the scene. In 2006, he had the fastest 200-meter time in the state of North Carolina. He can really go for a 5'7" guy.
Well, Texas Tech has won the toss, and they will receive. Let's go down to the sideline. The third member of our broadcast team. Here's Jack Arute. Jack, what do you got for us?
Well, the weather is going to come into play. It's nice and sunny, got a few clouds, but it's the wind, Ron, that is really going to wreak havoc. It is really, really stiff. It is blowing basically from right to left if you watch on the screen. Now, let me show you just how gusty it is. See what happens when I throw the confetti up. Well, I asked Mike Leach about it, and he said, hey, look, we don't worry about the wind. In fact, I started to think maybe we were in Lubbock. You know the way it blows there. He said, we don't worry about the wind in our passing game until they put the gale force flags out on the boats.
Okay. You sure there was a trick paper, Jack? All right. As we said, the Red Raiders won the toss, and most of the times people say, hey, we're going to defer until the second half. Not the Red Raiders, because they like to put that offense out first. Ron Prince, the head coach here for the Kansas State Wildcats. You see his record, 15-14. First meeting against Texas Tech. And we mentioned Coach Leach just a moment ago, the head man for the Red Raiders out on the South Plain. There's Coach Leach right there as he paces the sideline. And, you know, as Ed made mention of, he's been very open to say, guys, I don't like the way we look on offense. And I know that you have great preseason reputations and things like that, but I don't think we're anywhere near where we're going to have to be to win the Big 12 Conference play.
And the level of competition in non-conference, as you mentioned in the open, not very high. They played two 1AA/football championship subdivision teams. Their toughest game on the road against Nevada, quite frankly, didn't play very well offensively. And Mike Leach has been very vocal about Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree stepping up their game.
Hey, Jack brings up the point, and we'll talk with him more and more as the afternoon goes on about the effect of the weather down there. As the ball has just been blown off the tee before K-State's kicker can kick it off, Mr. Rossman, what do you have to do? I mean, obviously, you come to the real basics of shorter passes just to get everybody in a rhythm and then see what you can do from there?
Yeah, you throw too many long balls, especially outs, that come out and they're not spiraling. They can go the other way. The key is the punting game as well. That ball's either going to hang up or fly, and we may see some muffs today by the returners.
Well, guess which way the wind is blowing. That went a full 10 yards beyond the end zone line. So Graham Harrell we will talk about first, the starting quarterback for the Red Raiders. And as you look at the top of the screen, you'll be able to see a scroll of all 11 offensive players that open for the Red Raiders today.
And with just 175 yards today, Graham Harrell will become Texas Tech's all-time leading passer. And at this current rate, 393, he'll most likely move into second on the NCAA charts behind Timmy Chang, just ahead of Ty Detmer.
Shannon Woods is the man in the backfield with quarterback Graham Harrell. And they give it to him on first down. Has 5, has 10, and that's going to be a gain of very close to 11 yards on the first carry from scrimmage as Reggie Walker will come over to make the tackle. Now that makes starting much easier, particularly if you're going into the wind.
This is a part of the game that Texas Tech simply did not have last year, the ability to run. They are much more efficient in the run game this year with 2 good backs.
Well, speaking of 2, Batch has just joined Woods in the backfield. They keep it on the ground again, and it's Batch. Has 5, has 10. He's loose, and he takes it out to the 49-yard line. It's a gain of 18 yards. And now let's take a look at the Best Buy impact players for this game.
Well, we've already seen 2 of them. Shannon Woods, who was in the doghouse last year, was sent home from the bowl game, didn't even play, has played so much better, and a lot of that has to do with the hard running of Baron Batch. He's raised the level of that. And Eric Morris, they call him the elf, and it's not just because he's short. Mike Leach says there is some magic in him.
There's some magic in this running game. In the first 2 plays, a gain of 28, and they keep it on the ground again. Shannon Woods, and he's going to have a gain of 6. Take us back to what the head coach Ron Prince said on the Thursday when we came to practice. Well, he said, I worry about the fact that they throw well, but they can run really well.
And Kansas State has really struggled this year. They gave up 303 yards rushing against Louisville. Almost all new linebackers, especially in the middle, that we'll talk about, junior college guys getting used to this level of play, and he admits they're not quite there yet.
From the 45 on a second down and short. Wants to go on top, got a man open, and he's got the elf. Eric Morris breaks a tackle inside the 10. He is to the 5, and it's going to be first and goal. Texas Tech from the 1-yard line, a gain of 44.
One of the things that running game is so dangerous. You're playing a team that historically has thrown it so well, but this time the safety Tyson Hartman, who just moved over from quarterback, got way out of position. He's new to that position, number 2, Tyson Hartman, and he was thinking run, came up, and once Morris got by, and he walked down near the end zone.
We have played 1 minute and 45 seconds. And for Texas Tech, they are already on the lip of the cup. Harrell, quick out pass, thrown a little bit wide, incomplete. Looking for Leong, Lyle Leong, a sophomore who was out of Abilene, Texas.
And for Ron Prince, you were talking about what these coaches want to know. He was very frank with us yesterday about his run defense and that they just haven't been there yet. He says if they can improve, the game can slow down. We'll be okay, but I know he had some concerns coming into this ball game, and they're almost founded.
Does that ever open up the passing game to him? Because all of a sudden, play action really means something.
And it hadn't meant anything at Texas Tech for a long time since Torian Henderson.
Well, they throw a fade right. Far sideline. It is caught. And touchdown, Leong. Blair Irving is the man who had the cover, and Irving simply could not get up there and make the stop, so it's 6-0 Red Raiders.
And Leong at 6'1", great leaping ability. He was the Texas high school state high jump champion, and I don't think that you can throw a fade better than that. Graham Harrell's come out and thrown very well, very accurately, which they haven't seen much of this year so far.
Donnie Corona, the extra point attempt. He's got it. So we'll take a timeout. 12 minutes, 57 seconds showing on the first quarter clock. Already, Red Raiders 7-0. Graham Harrell paces the sideline. Way too early to be smiling, but I'm sure inside he's smiling. That is as nice an opening drive as we have seen in a long, long time.
It's interesting. They threw 2 fades in a row when they're knocking on the doorstep with a big offensive line. I wonder,
what's the thinking there?
I think it's let's get these guys some confidence. He threw that second fade was a perfect throw. I think that's what it was all about, because you could have, the way they were running it, just walked it in. I think that might have been a confidence call by the head coach.
Corona to kick it off. High end of a rim, but the wind's going to push this down quickly. Returnable from the 13. This is Quarles. Outside in the run. Quarles still fights out to the 32. Josh Freeman, the large one, 6'6", 250 pounds, out of Grandview High School in Kansas City. And as we watch him come on the field, look at the top of the screen, and just as we did with Tech, you will see a scrolling of the starting offensive players, this time for the Wildcats.
We already mentioned that Graham Harrell's coming up on the Texas Tech all-time passing record. Josh Freeman already just a junior, Kansas State's all-time leading passer.
Lamarck Brown, number 7, a converted wide receiver since he has come to college, is in the backfield. They fake it to him, and the pass right over the middle, and there's Banks.
Well, one thing that Josh Freeman has is a very strong arm. When he gets time and he steps into it, they've been working very hard on his balance. A tall quarterback, typically, they'll overstride. They won't keep their hips underneath of them. This, just perfect technique.
This time they go with a running play to Brown. It goes for a couple of yards. Brandon Williams defensively for the Red Raiders. So it gives us a little bit of a chance to catch our breath. Lamarck Brown, I mentioned, being converted from wide receiver. In high school, he was a running back. And quite frankly, with the logjam at wide receiver, he asked his coaches if he could move to the backfield.
And this gives them the ability now with an empty backfield. You get Brown up here in a slot, so you think it's one-back personnel, but because he's played that position, it's really 4 wide receivers.
So confusing to the defense is what you're saying. That pass right there, wide open at the 40-yard line, and good for the first down is Dion Murphy. And Dion has become a really just superb weapon for the Wildcats. He had the long punt return against Louisville to keep things going for them up there on the road.
And Kansas State looking like they want to hurry up a little bit. I like this answer. They just got punched in the nose by Texas Tech, and now they're putting the ball in the hand of their quarterback, and he's throwing it on time. He's getting the ball out very quickly.
And, of course, Freeman getting to throw with the wind here in the first quarter. Play action, looks near sideline, got a man. Touchdown, Kansas State, Ernie Pierce, 33 yards. Rossman comes in to attempt the extra point.
No blink.
Well, what is that song? Whatever you can do, I can do better.
No blinking. You're going to miss it.
Oh, trying to tie the game at the 11:31 mark. Rossman's extra point. Perfect. And now in Manhattan, a sigh of relief as they come back with an answer. It was very quiet after that opening drive by the Red Raiders. Now they're up and cheering again. We'll be right back.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. ESPN College Football on ABC, brought to you by Best Buy. You happier. Dodge, introducing the all-new Dodge Journey. If you can dream it, do it. Dodge, grab life. And AT&T, your world delivered.
Scenes from Fort Riley and Old Bill Monument. Chief, by the way, the last cavalry horse used is buried at the foot of Old Bill Monument. Rossman prepares to kick it off, and with this gale wind behind him, I would be shocked if either of the two deep backs for Texas Tech were within 20 yards of it, but we'll see. Wall is back deep along with LaRon Moore.
Here's a young man that has started kind of moving down the depth chart a little bit with all the junior college guys. Nice to see him get in the ball game, a senior.
I'm sure he echoes your sentiments. Well, another high kick. It's going to hit on the back line and go out, so they'll scrimmage from the 20. So at the top of your screen, you'll see the starters on defense for Kansas State. These are the 11 starting for K-State this afternoon on the defensive side.
And those two middle linebackers, Sakona and Pomeli, junior college first year, even though they were here in the spring, they will bite on misdirection. They're a little over aggressive. They're trying to get them to slow down, and we've already seen Texas Tech take advantage of that. Let's see if Mike Leach, calling his own plays, goes back to that run game. Be surprised if he doesn't.
This running play may go for one, and that's about it, is Shannon Woods. Michael Crabtree took the snap.
Yeah, they ran a little snap over to Crabtree, trying to get some misdirection. I'm sure they looked at the film of the Louisville game and saw that misdirection really hurt this linebacking corps, so trying to get Crabtree involved and running a little crisscross with him and the running back.
That's the shortest gainer that we've had today by Texas Tech. It was 6 yards. That was only 2. Harrell whirls of time, got it complete, and that is going to be a first down out to the 32-yard line, and it's Detron Lewis as they continue to use every receiver they have. Detron is a sophomore, and he's out of College Station, Texas.
And that was all about protection up front. This offensive line, I think one of the reasons people around college football, including myself, talked about Texas Tech possibly contending in a very competitive Big 12 South is this offensive line, not just big bodies, they're also athletic, great pass blockers, and very veteran.
Edward Britton, a junior out of El Paso, Montwood, comes into the lineup. He wears number 27. But they keep it on the ground with Shannon Woods. Tries to bounce it outside. He does, 35, 38, and it'll be a little bit short of the first down as Chris Carney comes over to make the stop for the Wildcats. And our first flag, and this one is back toward the line of scrimmage. It's going to be offensive holding against the Red Raiders.
Yeah, they're going to get Rylan Reed, the left tackle, as it bounced outside.
Ron Prince looks on. You could see Coach Leach a moment ago giving hand signals to the offense.
Working against the outside linebacker, Olu Hall, and Reed just grabbed a hold of that jersey and wouldn't let him go.
Baron Batch, number 25, into the backfield, replacing Shannon Woods. Pressure, fade route, near sideline. Ball is tipped and almost intercepted by Josh Moore. That's a nice identification with the ball and getting back to knock it down.
It's interesting talking to the Kansas State coaches and players yesterday. Chris Carney, the free safety, was saying how much confidence they have in Josh Moore, and Moore will be, anytime Crabtree is lined out wide, Moore will be there. He was their best corner back in 2006, had some academic issues last year, sat out 2007. They're awfully glad to have this young man back. That was great coverage.
Second down, they need to take it all the way out to the 41.5-yard line. We're tied at 7. Right over the middle, got a man there, wide open, and he is a big target. Detron Lewis makes the catch, and he's close to a first down at the 39-yard line, so it's a gain of 16.
Excellent job by Graham Harrell. There was good pressure. There was a blitz up the middle, and Batch, the running back, was getting pushed into his lap, and he threw that right over the top of the linebackers, and Lewis doing a nice job going up. He's only 6 feet tall. He looked a lot taller on that play.
Yeah, he did. I think it's because he was so alone.
Yes.
I hate to keep saying wide open, but every receiver has been, haven't they? Batch Graham Harrell. Third down and 3. Blitz coming up the middle. There are flags on the play, and we may have had encroachment.
Well, I think the offensive line for Texas Tech is getting a little nervous because of this blitzing.
Start.
Yep, it's going to be against the offense. You're right. Rylan Reed.
Tim Tibesar, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State, called the exact same blitz twice in a row. Coming in the middle, and the right tackle, Wynn, flinches. As that blitz is coming, the offensive line.
Marlon Wynn, I beg your pardon.
Yep, that offensive line was waiting for that blitz because they saw Tibesar had dialed up the exact same one. Nice call by the defensive coordinator.
Third down. Now it is around 8 to pick up the first. Harrell got a man just standing, waiting for the ball, makes the catch, and that's Eric Morris, who had the 44-yard reception just a moment ago. And how can he get that open? He was standing there waiting like he had just stepped off the sideline.
That is a blown coverage. And I'm not so sure that he caught this. It looked to me like his right foot may have landed out of bounds, but the corner on that side had backed so far up. Let's see which foot comes down first.
Well, the left foot came down inbounds.
The question is, was it before the right? I think it was about equal.
Yeah, it was not a problem. No. Safety valve over the middle, and that again is to Edward Britton. And Britton will be close to the first down at the 41-yard line.
You know, one of the things I think that Texas Tech does that stresses you so much is they have 5 receiver positions by name, and they actually chart during the game how many throws have gone to each one so that they make you have to guard each one of these guys. You cannot forget about one guy. They spread it amongst all of them, and they chart it. That's their balance on offense.
Graham Harrell turns, hands it off to Woods. And Woods will go for short yardage and take it to around the 36. And about now, there are grumblings of people sitting on couches in West Texas saying, why do you run that play? And you do it for honesty's sake. And what you're saying is, we want the defense to stay honest because those early runs are the things that opened up the passing game to begin with here.
And you know that Kansas State has really struggled in the last couple of ball games. Louisville and Louisiana Lafayette, 303 against Louisville.
Keep an eye. Number 82 checks into the lineup. Young man that we know and know his father well. Adam James, son of Craig James, works for ESPN ABC. Stepping up, ball is thrown, and it is caught by James. Close to the first down and around, or they're going to say now that he came down. Let's see. Now they're changing the spot, and that's going to be enough for the first down.
And I have a question about Adam James, because Mike Leach said, I don't want to say best hands on the team, but he may have the best hands on the team. Where'd he get those? I'm pretty sure Craig was a heck of a running back. I don't remember him making snags like that. That ball was kind of lobbed up there, and Adam James had to make a nice adjustment.
I could promise you in that area that those guys who do that show, the scoreboard show, and those easy chairs, no, I guarantee you, his dad is not leaning back in that chair right now. He's watching full frame. First down, Red Raiders from the 26. Back into the boundary. Batch, and he'll take it to around the 20-yard line as we hit the top of the hour. And to remind you, Ron Franklin and Cunningham and Jackaroo coming to you from the heartland, way out in, well, I guess you would say almost western Kansas. It's a ways out here. Riley County, to be exact. And we got a really good one going here. The opening conference game of Big 12 play for both. Tied at 7. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech are driving. This is the 10th play of the drive. Blitz. Harrell just throws this one away, and very wisely. A couple of quick touchdowns early in case you have just now joined us.
Well, it was the run game that put them on the doorstep, and then, of course, the pass game to Leon. Harrell to Leon, great throw, and then Josh Freeman answered right away to Pierce. They came roaring out of the gates. It seems like it's almost become pedestrian now. This is actually an offensive drive we're witnessing.
Third down. Line to make is the 16 of K-State. Blitz off the corner, and they throw a screen in that area. Here's Batch. 20, 15. Boy, he is tagged hard, and it's going to be enough for the first down, but Courtney Herndon came over and put his number right on it.
There was almost too much space for Hamby, the center, and Brandon Carter at 354 pounds. Watch these two guys when they get out here. There is so much grass to cover that these big fellas end up really not blocking anyone. And I think that Batch got a little tired of waiting for them, but that was a good job of Herndon undercutting those big bodies.
Batch will stay in the ball game at running back. It is first down now from the 15. Harrell rolls a time, safety down, left side. That's Batch. Broke off the tackle, and because of the missed tackle, there'll be 5 extra yards. How much did Ron Prince talk about that yesterday with us?
They counted 21 missed tackles against Louisville alone, and that is the big problem when you have a bunch of new guys, a bunch of junior college guys, some transfer guys in there. That's Hall, who hasn't played football in 2 years, hasn't played since 2005 at Virginia. They are not used to this speed, and the early schedule didn't really help that much. It wasn't very challenging.
Shannon Woods back in the ball game at tailback for the Red Raiders. Blitz right up the middle. Harrell has to hurry, and that was not a good pass, but he had to rush it. Better than taking a sack or having the ball knocked away. Heavy pressure presented by Ian Campbell.
And Campbell doing a nice job now standing up. Remember, he played some outside linebacker last year, now at defensive end, but they're moving him around in nickel. And I like what Tim Tibesar has gone to. He's not going to let Harrell stand back there. He's going to bring pressure. I think you just do that the rest of the game. Feed them pressure, even now, down on the goal line.
Situation, third down. They need to take it to the 5-yard line of Kansas State. We're tied at 7. Looking pass. Caught at the 3. Into the end zone. Michael Crabtree, the sophomore out of Dallas Carter. And last year's Biletnikoff winner puts the Red Raiders back on top.
This young man has such great body control, Michael Crabtree. And you see when that's just a simple slant pass, he made a great move on Moore, who had one-on-one coverage to the line of scrimmage. But you can hear him catch that ball. It has that sticky sound to it. What a tremendous wide receiver.
Donnie Corona, a sidewinder, but he does it with the left foot. Bangs home the extra point. Take it to break it.
Watch the move right at the line of scrimmage. Moore does not have help to the inside. Now let's see if Josh Freeman can answer once again.
Welcome back. That for Texas Tech, the longest drive this year. 14 plays, time of possession 6 minutes and 24 seconds. Quarles, the deep man back. And it should be returnable because, and again, if you joined us late, we have a considerable wind that is blowing from our right back to our left. So that is the direction that Corona is kicking into. And now the ball has just been blown off the tee.
And here comes the man that will put his finger on it. Usually you bring in, this is Daniel Charbonnet, he'll come out and put his finger on it. And that guy usually plays the safety, so he's not in the main coverage. As soon as it's kicked, Charbonnet will come down his side, which is usually between the numbers and the hash, and he'll be the safety valve, so he doesn't have to be in the main coverage, the guy who plays Lucy to Charlie Brown.
Daniel Charbonnet, by the way, a senior out of the Woodlands, Texas, which is a huge area just north of Houston. This is a spinner and very short. Fair catch is called for and made at the 30-yard line. Very wisely done. We'll remind you that this weekend, the chase heads to Talladega, where Jimmy Johnson looks to stay on top. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues with the AMP Energy 500 at Talladega on ABC tomorrow. Coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown, 1 Eastern.
Well, we've got a NASCAR race out here right now. Boy, the wind is really bothering these quarterbacks. Yeah. Freeman's 3 for 3, Harrell's 10 for 14.
Yeah, we were laughing during the time. I said, it really has given these guys discomfort, hasn't it? 14-7, Red Raiders on top, and the Wildcats answer. Good heavens, what a hit as the handoff goes straight ahead with Brown, and it's Cisse who's there to rack him up. Jack Arute, what do you got for us?
Around one of the reasons, as you alluded to, the converted wide receiver Lamarck Brown was due to the fact that K-State found themselves searching for a running back because of Leon Patton's off-field troubles. The offseason, he was charged with an outstanding warrant following a theft from Walmart, and he was suspended from the team. Then, while under suspension, Patton was charged with child abuse in an incident that allegedly involved shaking a 2-month-old baby. That's when he was dismissed from the team, guys.
Okay, Jack, thanks very much. As the pass is thrown near sideline and is caught, it's Quarles who is pushed out of bounds immediately. That's going to be a first down at their own 43.
And the coaches at Kansas State thought they might have a couple of guys that could do it. Keithan Valentine, a junior college transfer, played well but was having trouble in the pass game. And Brown, who was recruited as a quote-unquote athlete out of high school, had played some running back. They moved him right after the Louisville game, so it's just been a couple of weeks for him.
Little counter tray, but he's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and it'll only be a gain of about 1 as Richard Jones is the man who got penetration. But we'll say this about Lamarck Brown, whether he's a wide receiver or a running back, when you talk about all airport, you want him to be one of the first guys off the bus or the plane. He is a great-looking athlete, isn't he?
6'3", 225 pounds. He's picked up the game very quickly. Pass protection so important in this offense for a running back. They almost always leave him in passing downs to pick it up.
Shovel pass, and they get it to him, and he is hit immediately after a gain of only a couple. I would think also that the only natural thing that you would worry about, being a wide receiver and as rangy as he is he might run high rather than a lower level on the pass.
And I think that's why early in his career he was put at wide receiver, was that exact reason. He'll learn to get his pads down, though, as they get into the meat of the Big 12. He'll start to figure out how to get those pads down.
About to go under 3 minutes to play opening quarter. Red Raiders 14, Wildcats 7. Pressure. And a roll to his right and deliver way downfield. Open, and he overthrew Dion Murphy. Dion would have had a first down inside the 15-yard line, and it was Brandon Williams who was creating havoc and pressure on the quarterback.
When you break down film of Josh Freeman, this is a part of the game that he does need work on. He is inaccurate on the run. Against Louisville, he really had trouble when there was pressure, and that throw there just too far for Murphy, who was wide open.
Punt is with the wind. Fulhaig is capable of flipping the field right here, if you will. Here's his boot, and it's not going to turn over. More of a knuckleball, and very wisely, Eric Morris allows it to hit the ground, and it goes sailing out the back of the end zone. So 55 yards on the kick. Well, this week, we talked so much about Graham Harrell and about Moncrief. Well, this week they launched their Heisman Trophy campaign.
Yeah, Crabtree and Harrell, PassOrCatch2008.com, of course, playing off what's going on the national level with the presidential campaign. It's a very smart campaign. Do you like someone who throws it, or do you like someone who catches it? And, of course, they're stuck in that quandary of when you get towards the Heisman votes, will they start taking votes away from each other? And that can typically happen when you have two stars on the same team.
No debates involved on this one, though. Thank goodness.
And we'll give equal time to Josh Freeman and Banks and Murphy.
From the 20-yard line. Harrell. Out in the flat, that's Crabtree. Puts one move on, and he'll find his way out for maybe a gain of 1. It all looked good, but it didn't go for very much. Nice job defensively by K-State.
And a lot of people talk about is that the system isn't the player. I can tell you with Michael Crabtree, now he's in a great system. If he's in a different offense, does he have nearly 2,000 yards receiving last year? No. But I don't care what system this guy is in. A quarterback in high school out of Dallas, Texas, very lightly recruited for football, but man, has he become a big-time wide receiving prospect.
Running play with Wood. Shannon puts a head down, and he'll be out close to the 28-yard line. Now they say the 29, so it'll be 3rd down and short as Reggie Walker and Courtney Herndon combined on that stop. Yeah, Coach Knight, you know, talked with him and wanted, because he was an outstanding basketball player, a guard as well. Didn't want that. He's looking for football.
But Coach Knight was helpful in getting him to Texas Tech.
He goes to the sideline. 2 wide, nope. 1 wide receiver to the left and 2 to the right. Yeah, and a flag. That last substitution cost him.
Yeah, they're going to have illegal substitution.
Yep.
5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Graham Harrell is looking to the sideline asking what's going on, and Mike Leach is asking, but break the huddle with that many folks.
12, yep.
And that's the reason I was about to say 2 to the left and 2 to the right. And all of a sudden, one of them disappeared over there, the elf, Eric Morris.
And he got off late. Got out of the huddle late, I should say.
3rd down, they need to take it to the 30. K-State shows blitz in the middle. They pitch it out and come wide. Puts a head down, and I think he's going to miss it by about a half a yard. Shannon Woods on the carry.
And the question is, does Mike Leach go for it? I say no, and the reason is, when they were out in Reno playing Nevada, he went for it at this exact spot on 4th and 1, and they didn't get it. And he said, you know, I must have been breathing that pure oxygen like in a casino and gambled too much. This is shorter than the one they went for it in Nevada Reno, but after the game, it sounded like he'd never do that again.
Well, the Tech players are even asking if they'll bring in the chain, but the officials are standing there looking, and it would appear that the chain is just a little bit on.
3-yard line to the 20. The short 4th down.
Okay.
Well, they're going to go for it. He said he wouldn't do it again. Exact same spot he went for it, Nevada Reno.
I mean, he just got inches, absolute inches to pick this up. 1:03 left to play, first quarter. Texas Tech, 14-7, and they're going for it on 4th down, deep in their own territory. Left side, fighting. He does not make it. The defense of Kansas State rises up and holds him.
Good job by Tim Tibesar. He lined up in that old 46 defense, and you're not under center. I'd put the guy under center. I know you don't do that much. You just run a quarterback sneak. You're running parallel to the line of scrimmage.
That was a very wide play, which allows a lot of people to come over and say hi.
Yeah, and there was a really nice job of Tim Tibesar. He had the center and both guards covered in that old Bear 46 defense, and they rode right down the line, and that's the 2nd time on the 30-yard line of the opposition in the first quarter that Mike Leach has gone for it. Nevada now here 0 for 2. I don't like that decision.
Chris Carney is the man who will get credit for the tackle. What a job by him, and let's see if the Wildcats can take advantage. Throw caught. 17-yard line. That's Dion Murphy. Matt Weiner, let's check in with you in New York.
Thanks. Good to see everyone. I'll be here throughout the game to let you know what's happening around the country.
First, this Taco Bell update on Alabama against Kentucky today, and that is Glenn Coffey, 78 yards. He's already up over 100, and the Bama Tide had a 14-0 lead there. And Ron, Kansas spotted Iowa State a 20-point lead before the Jayhawks came back to win.
Okay, our situation, 14-7 Red Raiders. They just gave it up on downs. A first down on the first play, and they go with a running play here. And it's going to be Lamar Brown, who got really hit hard at the 10-yard line. Brian Duncan was there. By the way, Rayshawn Hindley, a 2-year starter, defensive lineman, limped off the field after the last play, injured an ankle.
And defensive coordinator Ruffin McNeil does have some depth. They like to rotate a lot of guys, but they're going to need more than that down here.
Into the first quarter. We have not had an opportunity to even sit down. 14-7 Texas Tech. This presentation of college football presented by Best Buy will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Brock, the new offensive coordinator.
He tripped on the grass. He almost fell down just before he caught it. Watch this.
Well, it wasn't a perfect throw. Little low, and Brown, a former wide receiver, does a nice job to keep his balance. Yeah, I think he may have stretched in. I thought it was close. But that was a heck of a call by Dave Brock, who took over for James Franklin, who left to go take over offensive coordinator at Maryland.
The field judge was right there, but they might review this.
Awfully close, but it looked to me like Brown stretched out just right before his hip or knee hit the ground. Great job of keeping his balance. Yeah. Let's see. Here's the one that should tell us.
Yep,
No,
knee down right
knee
there.
down, yeah.
Knee down at about the 1.5, maybe the 2-yard line.
So you figure the ball was probably at about the half for, you know, that length of a 6'3" man.
They should be announcing that right about now. They got the same replays we got.
Here's the one where you'll be able to tell where the ball should go. So knee down about the half yard line. And to me, this is where replay's a good thing. I wish we could speed up the process a little bit. I really do. I think we should start talking about a time limit on this thing. If you can't tell in a minute and a half, it's not indisputable evidence, which is what it has to be to overturn it. But now you make Kansas State earn it. And I think that's fair.
After review, the runner's knee was down prior to the ball crossing the line, the goal line. The ball will be spotted at the half-yard line, 2nd down.
Well, now he picked up the first down, did he not? That was enough yardage for the first down, so this should be 1st and goal for Kansas State, not second.
You can see the stick on the far sideline is there. 1st down, just inside the 1. So again, Lamar Brown will line up a tailback and have an opportunity unless they run a quarterback sneak.
Well, they're going to have to talk back up to the replay booth, and this, everybody in the stadium knows it's 1st and goal, not second.
Yeah, you see,
it's on the 6s for the 1st down. So
yeah, so he's well inside that, almost 5 yards beyond it.
The result of the play, gain the 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, there's, to me, the double-edged sword of replay. This just takes a little too long. Get it? They got it right, but let's not take all the momentum out of it. Again. I would think quarterback sneak with a 250-pounder.
Well, that's what they're going to do. Puts a head down. Touchdown, Josh Freeman. Now the big scoreboard has gone haywire. It is showing 55-14. Wishful thinking, Kansas State.
One team may end up with 55 before it's over, but not with 14:35 left in the second quarter.
Should be 14-13. Red Raiders with the extra point attempt to come. Brooks Rossman to attempt the extra point. And we're tied. Well, every week in college football can drastically change the season, and each game is a must-see. Tonight at ABC, either number 14 Ohio State against number 18 Wisconsin, or number 23 Oregon at number 9 SC. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC tonight, 8 Eastern.
3 of those 4 teams cannot afford another loss as we take a look at our all-state standings review. And as we know, this becomes like the stock market. This will go up and down again and again and again. 3 teams last week in the top 10. Loss in South Florida has already gone down. I think the moral to the story is, for top 10 teams, don't play on Thursday night against an unranked opponent. That's 2 weeks in a row on that Thursday night game. It was Pitt over South Florida this Thursday, and the Thursday before, unranked Oregon State over number 1 USC.
So we have 14 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in this first half, and we're tied at 14. Texas Tech came out and scored in just over 2 minutes of their opening possession, and then K-State came right back. Now let's head to New York and John Saunders for a Sports Center right now. We'll do that as soon as we have had our kickoff here.
Well, you'd have time because you've already got the ball coming off the tee again. Have we seen a kickoff without that yet?
No. And I don't think we will the rest of the day. We just talked to Jack during the timeout, and at first I thought it was changing directions. It's just the fact that it's gusting higher. And I think his initial prognostication of up to 30 miles an hour is more correct right now. than it was. I mean, it's really, really gaining from our right to our left. Hanging kick going to be taken at the 12. This is Moore. Moore tries to get to the outside and slam down at the 35. Now, let's head to New York. John Saunders for Sports Center right now. John?
Ron, powered by Vizio, and it's going to be Sam Bradford of Oklahoma. What a big day against Baylor. 49-17 the final. 53 yards to Manuel Johnson right here. And thus far, we don't have any upsets in the top 25.
That's new. Just give it a little time, I guess, John. Well, we've got a wild one going here. It's very entertaining that I know one of your group has at least a mild interest in. Shovel pass, and he's got some running room. 40, 45. Not only has the first down, he has about 8 yards more. That's Baron Batch, the sophomore from Midland. Jack Arute, what do you have?
Well, Ron, you and Ed have been talking about the importance of the running back, and we talked about it for Kansas State. Well, in Mike Leach, and we certainly saw it in that first quarter, the running back is the position that he calls the iron horse position. Why? Because like most running backs, yeah, he has to block. Yes, he has to run with the ball. But we saw it in the first quarter. He also has to catch a lot, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
It's the most difficult position in this offense by far. They have to have as much knowledge as the quarterback.
Quick out pass, and that goes to Morris. Morris with 2 blockers in front. The way they run it with a 3 wide receiver set. He takes a step back. The ball's thrown to him, and he has 2 blockers in front. Harrell has hit 7 passes in a row now.
And this running back group of Batch and Woods, the best 2 guys that they've had since Mike Leach has been here. Of course, Torian Henderson, who was a great player in the early 2000s, but this twosome, the best that Mike Leach has had, and he's starting to find new ways to use them.
Quick pass out in the flat. That's Britton. And Britton will go for short yardage. But when you stop and think about it, on a play like that, that is as good as a quick pitch to get a guy outside. It just happens a lot faster. So it's a 3rd down. And let's say what, just under 2 yards for the first. Hall defensively for K-State.
It's interesting, Mike Leach calling his own plays. Dana Hordelson left, his offensive coordinator. But he doesn't need that whole big chart. It's all up in his head.
2 running backs on the 3rd down. Harrell with an audible. Woods gets it. Boy, he gets smacked at the line of scrimmage, and he's not going to come close to making it. That was Brandon Harrell, the huge freshman out of East St. Louis, 6'6", 264 pounds.
And Harrell listed as a defensive end, but because they are playing more nickel defense, usually lining up in a 3-4, now with 4 down linemen, Harrell, a promising freshman, comes inside, and here they go for it. Again, this one I agree with on this side of the field.
So you got Crabtree in a slot to the left down at the bottom of your screen. 1 setback. That's Shannon Woods. 4th down. Woods has the first down plus about 5 yards as he'll take it all the way down to the 32-yard line. So let's take a look now with the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, it has been back and forth. We suspected this is the way it would go. A slight edge to Texas Tech. Time of possession, I don't think, is really going to matter much when this is over because both of these teams can score in mere seconds.
But again, if you just now dialed us in, it was a chancy play at around the 29 when Tech went for a 4th down as they throw this one complete. That's Tremaine Swindle. And they did not pick it up, and that's when Kansas State took it right down the field and scored. And Ian Campbell with the pressure on that last play.
Excuse me, Ron, a much different play on that 4th down. You had mentioned how they went sideways on that 4th and inches on their own 30. That time, actually, Harrell got under center, and they ran right at the right guard. They were not going to go sideways on that one.
That's what cost them on the first one. 2nd down and short. And this running play. Well, I'll tell you, K-State is doing a good job. They are far more stingy than they were in the early going. But Woods, I think, is going to have the first down as Hulick comes up. John, a junior out of Wichita.
and a young man that they needed back. He was suspended for the first 4 games he had a DUI this summer. And just getting back, and he's a young man that they need because Antoine Moore, another good active linebacker, injured, probably not going to be able to play today.
Harrell, middle screen, what they call the jailbreak, and it was knocked down. There were hands all over the place. And I think Brandon Harold got one of those big mitts up. He was being entertained by one of those offensive linemen, but he got an arm out and just enough to either deflect or to deflect the vision of the receiver.
Watching him the other day in practice, 6'6", 264 pounds, and he looks like he's got that Michael Phelps wingspan, more of a 7-footer than a 6'6" guy.
And this time next year, he'll weigh probably more like a 284 instead of 264. Harrell's pass is caught on a comeback to Crabtree, still on his feet, trying to break off the tackle and pick up 2 more yards because of that effort.
You know, it's interesting. We visited with Ron Prince at practice the other day, and his eyes lit up talking about Michael Crabtree. He's like, that's the kind of player I like to watch. When he's blocking for somebody, he's trying to throw people out of bounds. When he has the ball in his hands, he'll never go down. You sense that Ron Prince had a great respect for the competitive nature of Michael Crabtree.
So the situation, 3rd down, they need it at the 11-yard line of Kansas State. Harrell, quick pass on the look-in, incomplete. Defensively, Josh Moore was the man who had a hand on him, and a good defensive play. So it's going to be a 4th down.
They're going to kick it. It has not been very good for Texas Tech, though. They have had 2 field goals blocked, and Corona only 1 for 5, a true freshman. So this is no gimme, but I think you have to kick it here. And that looked like a bad route to me. I think Harrell threw the right slant to the right spot. I don't think that route was run to the right depth.
LaCour, the punter, is the holder. This is a 31-yard attempt from the left hash mark. And he got it. So we'll take a timeout. 9:43 left in this first half. Texas Tech goes back on top, 17-14. Well, it says Big 12 champions, and that's the women's basketball team from here at K-State. They were honored prior to the game. No, actually not prior to the game, but in between quarters. And it's time now for the Aflac trivia question. Bill Snyder holds the Kansas State record with 136 coaching wins. Who is second?
Well, I have to take myself out of the running because I'm pretty certain that's going to be in this media guide sitting right in front of me. And we know how, if given the chance, I treat life as an open book test.
See, one of the things that's not defined on there is that who is number 2. Well, actually, with that number of wins, I assume we are talking about football now. It doesn't go into basketball too, does it?
Well, and it's unbelievable how bad this program was when Bill Snyder got here. So we're going to have to dig way back. I think we might be in the late 1800s, early 1900s for that answer.
Here comes the kick. Corona's kick. With the wind behind him, is going to sail and now bounce out of the back of the end zone. And Mr. Weiner, let's check with you in New York.
All right, Ron, it's a Verizon Wireless update. The 53rd meeting between Florida State and Miami, and the Seminoles have found themselves a little offense. Anton Smith, 19 yards for the touchdown. And the Noles lead at 14-0 there. Illinois has just taken a 17-14 lead in Ann Arbor.
So, you know, that's one ball game that I'm not really surprised about, the Illinois and Michigan game. With Illinois going out in front, they've still got some offensive weapons that everybody, you know, does not talk about that they did last year. Is we're going to have a call against Kansas State here, and a 5-yard penalty will be stepped off. But the other one, how long has it been? Florida State and Miami are playing this weekend. That used to be the headline event. And nobody. We talked about that at dinner last night.
It's unbelievable.
Shows how the mighty have fallen.
I get the sense, though, Miami's close. Florida State.
I do too.
We'll see. with the head coach in waiting, Jimbo Fisher. But I think Miami's going to get there first to get back on top.
Freeman's going to go, and that one could not be handled by the wide receiver, Dion Murphy. Well, we'll see what Ed's doing right here. It's called cheating. And he's trying to look up to see what's the answer of the Aflac trivia question. And I have no idea, but that doesn't bother me. As far as this game right here, momentum, a little bit of a swing toward Texas Tech, or is it all incumbent upon what they can do on this drive right here at K-State?
Well, they've been able to answer every time, and you've got to do it again. You cannot allow Texas Tech to get a possession ahead of you.
A pass, short pass right over the middle, and that was dropped. Dion Murphy was hit as soon as the ball got there, and now it is going to be a third down and about 15. Jackaroo.
Well, Ron, the defense for Texas Tech is going to have to go the rest of the distance without left defensive tackle Rajon Henley. He is out for the game with an injured right knee. Maybe the good news, guys, as you know, is Ruffin Smith, the defensive coordinator, has simplified things a little bit this season, so backups shouldn't have as big of a problem as they might have had in years past.
Yeah, we had a good visit with Ruffin McNeil, as you take a look at him right there. But one of the guys that he was pleased was coming along was Henley, sophomore out of Galveston Ball High School. Pressure on the quarterback, and the ball tipped, almost intercepted. That was Darcel McBath, who came very close. He already has 2 interceptions this year. Came close to picking that one.
And that one was fed right in between defenders. Mastrud gets his hands on it. McBath almost comes up with another one. And this is not good for Kansas State. You're down 3, and the wind is in your face. This should be very good field position.
Yep. Fulhake waits for the snap at the 3-yard line. Here's his boot. The kick is going to turn over, but the wind is now holding it up. And the catch made it to 44. That's Morris. And wow, I can't believe he caught it in that traffic and got away from the first tackler. We'll take a break. Tech will have it at their own 47. They lead by 3.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Maxima. It has an award-winning 290 horsepower V6 engine, an intelligent CVT transmission, and a masterfully crafted interior designed around the driver. The breathtaking Nissan Maxima, the 4-door sports car. Lease a new 2009 Nissan Maxima for $339 a month for 39 months.
DNA is just, that's just bananas. Actually like a living organism. It's DNA in a video game. It's like a computer that can talk and learn and stuff. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh, man. It automatically tracks the stats of the players, the injuries, the hot streaks. I don't know who thought about it, but he was a genius, man. It updates every day. Like, that's bananas, man.
Rated E for everyone.
Now $199.
Everything okay, Carl?
I'm winning, right?
Yeah, but the other drivers think Aflac sponsorship's giving you an advantage.
Well, if you're sick and you can't work, Aflac pays cash fast to help keep you in the race.
I know, but they see it a little differently. I taught him that.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
There are people that you meet in life that can change you as a human being. This little girl is one of those people, and she's only 8 years old. That's a hero.
ABC Sunday 8/7 Central, a community's biggest cheerleader.
When I look at her, I see an angel.
Becomes the Extreme Team's biggest inspiration.
If you always look at the bright side, it really changes your life.
You're awesome. ABC's Extreme Makeover Home Edition. All new Sunday 8/7 Central on ABC.
ESPN College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Best Buy. You happier. Nissan, passionate about performance and proud sponsor of the Heisman Trophy. And Aflac. Ask about it at work.
So welcome back to Matt Madden, Kansas, 17-14. Texas Tech leads. Adam James checks back into the lineup, and I can tell you, Adam is in a position to be a part of history. And here's the reason why. The quarterback, Graham Harrell, is within 3 yards of becoming the record holder in total passing yards for a career. See if he throws to Mr. James. Pass over the middle, got it complete, and there it is. Adam James' name will go into the record book as the man, and we happen to have him isolated. So let's take a look. And Dad back in the studio has got to be extremely proud. Second catch of the afternoon, but also he is in the record books at Texas Tech. So Graham Harrell, the new all-time passing yardage leader,
takes over for Cliff Kingsbury, the last 3-year starter that Mike Leach had.
Harrell dumps it over the middle, got it complete to Morris. Morris will go inside the 30. He's down to the 26, and that's another first down.
Talking to Mike Leach, of course, Graham Harrell, a 3-year starter like Cliff Kingsbury. And it's almost like he's spoiled, but it's so interesting when you talk to Mike Leach. It was almost like when I asked him the question about having a 3-year starter, he'd kind of forgotten that Harold been here. He just constantly focused on how can we get better, what can we do. It's almost like he doesn't really think of stuff like that. It's just not important to him.
Shannon Woods, the lone setback, steps up to block. Pass to the far sideline is complete. And that's Detron Lewis. Detron Lewis, folks, are going to have another first down on this pitch and catch. So we'll take a look now at an updated all-time Texas Tech passing list. There you see Graham Harrell, Kingsbury now in second place, and then Hall, Leffridge, and Billy Joe Tolliver.
And the only 2 guys from the Mike Leach era are Harrell and Kingsbury. Remember, there was that great run after Kingsbury where it was a one and done. B.J. Simmons, Sonny Cumbie, all those guys were 1-year starters, so didn't play long enough to get onto that list.
Harrell, sideline, got it complete. Did he get it to the end zone? Touchdown. It is Leon with his second touchdown catch of the afternoon as he came down and jammed the ball forward onto the pylon.
It was a heck of a job by Leon. The adjectives used to describe him by Mike Leach, he's very smooth, and he did an excellent job after that catch. Saw the pylon, reached the ball out for the extra stretch to get the touchdown. They're going to review this, but not so sure they need to.
Okay, got it right there. And you see him turn.
Okay. And the problem is the referee has to run all the way down to the 430 to get the headset. I know that every play is reviewed, but
the only thing to me that could change it, did his left hand come down first, short of him touching the pylon?
That's a good question. Boy, he jammed that right knee. I wouldn't.
Yeah, he really did. His left hand did come down, but shy of the end zone.
Yeah, I think the ball may have crossed right before it did. That's good eyes.
It could be right. Yeah. Could be.
That's good eyes.
Ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Surprised Leon. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Leon's over there. The way his knee, did you see how it almost hyperextended as he planted to try to make that? He seems to be moving fine, but it's an awful lot of stress.
We'll get Jack to keep an eye on that situation. Get a report. Leon has really been, everybody's been an integral part in this first half. He has spread it around to everyone. But Leon now with his second touchdown pass, and Corona to attempt the extra point, trying to make it a 10-point lead. He got it. So 8 minutes and 12 seconds left until halftime, and as we go to break, one more look at this effort. Leon hits toward the pylon with the ball, gets it, and it's Tech scores.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy.
So we are back, and answer to today's Aflac trivia question is, Bill Snyder is the winningest head football coach of all time here at Kansas State University. Who is number 2? Bill has 136 coaching wins. And in second place is a gentleman by the name of Coach Ahern, who, you see the name in the arena? Ahern Arena. Well, in fact, our stat guy, the Big E, Elvin Lindblad, his dad played basketball in the old Ahern Arena. And anyway, he was the basketball coach as well as the football coach.
Unbelievable when you think that number 1's 136 wins and number 2's 39. That tells you how far Bill Snyder brought this program back.
Here's the kick by Corona. And this one's going to be returnable. Corners. Near side. 25-30. 35. Still on his feet. And he fights his way all the way out to the 43. Put an asterisk by that. That is a heck of an effort by that young man. 40 yards on the return. And now, with plenty of working time, K-State with good field position.
And the last time that K-State played a number 17, it was last year. Almost exactly a year to the date that they went up to Texas and beat Texas. And it was 3 returns, touchdown returns in that game. An interception, a kickoff return, and a punt return that ended up being the difference. So needed something to get going because they did, Kansas State, get a possession behind. We'll use basketball terms in a game like this.
From the 44. Pressure on Freeman to break through a little bit behind the intended receiver, and that was Aubrey Quarles.
And for Kansas State, all of their receivers, Banks, Quarles, and Murphy, very good in all aspects of the game. Kick returns. Of course, Murphy had that electric punt return against Louisville. But all of these guys, when they get in space and can start to move around, when we just saw Quarles do a nice job of improving the field position for Kansas State in this drive.
Freeman looks to throw. That ball is tipped. A defensive paw came out there and knocked it aside, and that is Dixon. So he has now missed his last 5 as we take a look at Murphy and that punt return I talked about against Louisville.
I'm not so sure if it's not right now the play of the year. And it was funny talking to the Kansas State coaches. At that time, things were not going well for Louisville offensively, for Kansas State offensively. And he said we needed a big play to make a big play. And Murphy, of course, led the Big 12 in punt returns last year, so they know what he's capable of.
3rd down and 10. Freeman steps up, and the ball is tipped, almost intercepted. That ball should have been caught. Mark Brown, and you hear some boos from the crowd. 6 straight misses. But also, I'll make one other point. He's been working into the wind here for, a very short time on offense. He has not been nearly as effective as Harold was into the wind.
Well, you're not going to be effective when you hit guys in the hands and they drop it. And that's a first down. And now Kansas State, after a great kick return, do nothing with it.
Now the wind's going to get this one on the run. Morris makes a catch, spins, goes down at the 30-yard line. And now the danger that K-State is in Tech with plenty of working time. If they get a touch to go in at halftime, 31-14. Huge deficit. Defense got to stand up. We'll be right back.
This is my family. This is their new HD TV.
That doesn't look like HD.
I don't think it's hooked up right.
And this is me. Yeah. Let's see what happens this time when my family goes to Best Buy.
This LG is perfect for you, and Geek Squad can set it up.
I don't know what HD is, but I don't like it. HD done right. Only from Best Buy. You happier. Introducing Taco Bell's new 89-cent Volcano Taco. With spicy lava sauce, it could be the spiciest taco ever.
Who ate my Volcano Taco? Don't look at me.
Why pay more for heat when you can think outside the bun?
Pacific Life has been the power behind successful individuals for more than 140 years. Pacific Life's strength includes assets exceeding $100 billion. Ask your financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you reach your retirement goals. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. Unlike other materials, healthy skin is able to become more resilient. New Vaseline Men helps fortify skin, so instead of breaking down, it can grow stronger. New Vaseline Men lotions for stronger, more resilient skin.
7 minutes, 35 seconds left until halftime. And Texas Tech gets the punt. And Morris with a spinning move takes it back out to the 30-yard line. So they're 70 yards away. And a defensive K-State, they have needed to step up at any particular time this afternoon. It's right now. Harrell out of the backfield. It's Morris. 35 spinning, and he's finally down at the 38-yard line. Jason O'Mara is a modern-day NYPD detective, Sam Tyner, who finds himself hurtled back to the tumultuous times of 1973 New York City. He's the right cop in the wrong time. Life on Mars series premiere on ABC Thursday at 10, 9 Central after an all-new Grey's Anatomy.
And Mike Leach is from 2073.
Not only a first down, but a huge chunk beyond as Shannon Woods turns the corner. Tyson Hartman finally had to knock him out of bounds. Right now, the rhythm that the head coach has been looking for, I think, is in place. And I mean from the get-go this afternoon into the win. Maybe it made him concentrate a little harder in that first quarter.
Well, they got that run established. And now they're able to do so many different things. I wouldn't be surprised, even though there's a deep safety here, to see Leach open one up with the wind at his back for Crabtree.
Woods and Batch in the backfield, and the handoff goes to Batch. Big opening, has 5, has 10. Counted off at about 16 yards on the carry. Tyson Hartman again. And when you continue to call the name of the safeties, you know that the up front folks are not doing their job.
And for Mike Leach, it has been such an interesting road to head coach at Texas Tech. We'll take a look at his bio. Third longest tenure. You don't believe that in the Big 12, but the one that really sticks out to me when you talk to him is his time with Hal Mumme. They did a road show when they were working together for all those years and developed this offense by going to a bunch of different places and picking what worked best. Over several years, this offense was developed.
Tremaine Swindle on the catch, redshirt freshman out of Oklahoma City. 6'3", 175, very tall, very thin. So the Red Raiders just continue to dial the right number. That's still another first down. In fact, that's 18 first downs. We are just under 6 minutes to play in the first half. 18, folks. There's going to be a lot of scoreboards you'll see tomorrow that won't have 18 for a ball game for some teams.
It was interesting. Before the game, I got to visit with Sonny Cumbie, former quarterback for Mike Leach, who's now doing the radio call for Texas Tech. And he was talking about the latitude that Mike Leach gives his quarterbacks. A lot of times a quarterback can only call certain audibles, but because Mike Leach is not only his own offensive coordinator, he's also the quarterback's coach. Spends a lot of time with those guys. They can call with the formation any play that's in the playbook, anytime, anywhere on the field. He gives these guys a lot of rope.
Harrell over the middle. That's Crabtree. Hang on. Inside the 10, and he's down to around the 4. When he catches that skinny post at full gait like that, whoa, if you're in the secondary, you got to just pray.
He is so smooth. He has such great body control. When he gets the ball, and he's a hands catcher, I can't stress enough how important it is to not have to cradle that ball with your body. If you have to cradle it, your feet leave the ground, the defense can close in, you don't get many yards after catch, but when you have smooth stride and good hands, lots of yards after the catch.
Just a simple crossing pattern, but you could see the area had been cleared. It is first down and goal to go. They keep it on the ground with a running play. Not much there for Shannon Woods. Eric Childs making the stop. Rod Franklin, Ed Cunningham, Jack Arute. Glad to have you along in the conference opening game in the Big 12 here in Manhattan, Kansas. And with 4.5 minutes until halftime, Texas Tech 10-point lead and knocking on the K-State door again. 3 wide receivers to the open side of the field. 8th play of the drive for the Raiders. Over the middle, too tall, had him open. That was Leon. That could have been his 3rd touchdown catch of the afternoon.
You know, after the SMU game, Mike Leach was really hot at Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree and said, well, I don't know if it's that they have big heads or they're scared, but he wants to fine-tune things. He knows when they get in the heart of their Big 12 South schedule, throws like that are going to make you pay. And here you are at 3rd and goal. I expect maybe a fade over here to Crabtree up top.
Adam James comes into the lineup. Number 82, also 47, Ryan Hale. They're down a goal. It's just under 4 yards away. Looking, lobs it out, got a man wide open. That's Hale. Touchdown, Texas Tech. That's his first catch of the year. We talked about spreading the wealth.
And they say the term they use is deploy Hale. He's got that military work ethic. He was a linebacker last year, but they say he has much better hands than you would think as a former linebacker.
Deploy Hale. That's what just happened here in Manhattan. We still got just under 4 minutes to play as Corona will attempt the extra point, and he's got it.
Well, let's look how, when you have a guy like Michael Crabtree, I thought he may run the fade, but instead he's going to run the slant, and there is no coverage for deploying Hale into the flat. So there's no safety over there. I know you got to have some guys in the box, and I think that's what the one thing that Texas Tech, they were so terrible running the ball last year, and I think the difference for them this year is that because they can now run it down inside the 5, you can't afford to go out and double cover someone like Crabtree. Well, even though Crabtree wasn't open on the slant, there's no safety there to then go over and pick up Hale, who was deployed.
Well, we were talking earlier about a Heisman campaign being run by Michael Crabtree and Graham Harrell. Actually, the school is running for them. Let's take a look at that one for Graham Harrell.
Red Raiders. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about wide receiver Michael Crabtree. In 2007, he electrified the nation, piling up yardage and touchdowns with catch after catch. But I ask you to consider one thing this election season. How do those footballs get in the air?
Vote Harrell in 2008.
Footballs don't just magically fly through the air. I'm Graham Harrell, and I approve this message.
That's awesome. That is so smart.
Oh, my. Well.
and they'll need something like that. You know, they'll need someone, a really smart campaign because of the other guys, Chase Daniel and Colt McCoy, are out to great starts on the season. They'll need something to turn some heads.
Matt Weinert, let's check back with you.
All right, Ron, you know, Georgia Tech's running the triple option this year, so how unlikely is it that a receiver would be our nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-American Player of the Week? Demaryius Thomas caught 9 passes for 230 yards and a touchdown in the win over Duke. Text VOTE to 51234 on your AT&T wireless telephone to cast your vote.
So the Dukies were off and running, and today they ran into a stubborn, rambling wreck from Georgia Tech. First down, Freeman reverses out and throws the ball complete, and his tight end, Mastrud, makes the catch and then gets hit very hard. Jack Arute.
Ron, you know, we asked Josh Freeman what he wanted to try and work on, and he said, I need to learn how to flush the bad out and not live in it. And you saw that throw to Mastrud. Well, maybe one of the ways he's flushing it out is he's no longer sitting over by himself. In fact, during that last sequence on defense, who was he sitting next to? Mastrud. Figure it out.
Now, it's not a time to panic. I know the score is great as far as the difference, but Kansas started out today in a huge hole and came back, just, you know, got the continuity there and came back and won over Iowa State. This situation is 31-14, but you can't get it all at once. So just what they're doing right there. Very simple. Move it down the field, got to get in the end zone. They got 3 minutes right now, so plenty of time to work with. Pressure on Freeman. The ball almost intercepted, And in fact, on a second opportunity, it was almost picked off. Wall had a chance. Also, Darcel McBath, and I thought Darcel was coming to make the interception. He might have scored on that return.
And McBath just read it the whole way. That was we talked about a young quarterback not only flushing the bad, but one of the things that Ron Prince talked about with his young quarterback, he said these young guys tend to lock in, absolutely locked in on Banks, and McBath, the safety, read it the whole way. And if he would have caught it with his hands, may still be running.
Third down, they need to take it to the 41-yard line. Short drop right over the middle, and that ball thrown just a little bit behind the intended receiver, who was Banks.
And one of the things that Ron Prince said he wants to see out of his quarterback as a flag comes down across the field is he needs to see him be successful in a hurry-up end of the half, end of the game drill. And right now not looking good for this try.
Delay, sideline interference, Texas Tech. 5-yard penalty. It'll be fourth down. This is a dead ball foul.
Well, it's not only a dead ball foul, it is a new creation this year. There is no warning anymore. You get a sideline violation. It is a first time when it's called. It's a 5-yard penalty, delay of game.
And 4th and over 1, and Ron Prince looks like he's going for it. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to draw them off sides, but I see his point. I don't totally disagree with this. The momentum totally on Texas Tech. They need something to get going for Kansas State.
Well, Brown is the lone setback. Craven will take it straight ahead, going to have the first down, and gets tackled with a knee-high tackle at around the 45. Here's a look at the drive chart on Kansas State today.
And this is why I think that Ron Prince went for it on that 4th down. I think that was the right call because the last 2 drives were just so awful. They didn't want that offense to come back off the field because I don't care short, long field. Texas Tech most likely would have gone down and scored.
Tries to lob it, and he throws it a little too high for a 5'7" Brandon Banks, and he could not corral that one. And here's a graphic on Freeman and the afternoon that he has had.
And it's just not been very good. More pressure, and one of the other things, the growth that they need to see is more accuracy under pressure. That time we saw him earlier miss the long throw to Murphy. That one he had Banks wide open and just overthrew it. So he needs to work on his accuracy when he's on the move.
Freeman swings it out. That ball thrown behind the ball carrier. And that one could have been dropped as well.
And it's one thing that the NFL scouts are wowed by Josh Freeman's physical ability. Great arm. Actually has a quick release for a tall guy. But the word you hear all the time is consistency. They need to start seeing it on a consistent basis. And this, I think, is an important drive. Not just for this game, but I think this is an important drive for the rest of the season for Josh Freeman and Ron Prince to feel comfortable that they can get an offense going when they have to have it. They have to have it right now.
We're now at 2:05 left to play until halftime. 31-14 Texas Tech. Pass almost intercepted. Stepping in front of the play was Daniel Charbonnet. And Charbonnet almost made the pick.
Well, in a wasted 4th down that picked up the first down, they had a wasted kickoff return by Quarles, now a wasted Freeman run for a first down.
4th punt of the afternoon. This is off the side of his foot. Not only into the wind, but off the side of his foot. They may not get more than about 6 or 7 yards out of this one. Wow.
That official right there, he's going to keep walking.
Look at that.
That's
going to be
first down marker.
Inside of the first down marker.
Holy cow.
Well, tonight ESPN features 2 exciting matchups. First at 6 Eastern, number 13 Auburn against number 19 Vanderbilt. Then at 9 Eastern, number 4 Missouri is at Nebraska. College football primetime by Hampton. Hampton Hotels, the presenter tonight on ESPN. Folks, that was an 8-yard punt.
Last time Missouri won in Lincoln, I think the president was Lincoln.
Almost that far ago, yeah. You know what, though? With that Missouri ball club, I'm not sure any of that has anything to do with anything.
I agree.
Pass out in the flat. Morris just continues to spin, and as he spins forward, he'll be across midfield.
All kinds of time. Texas Tech with all 3 of their timeouts, and they don't huddle much, so this is nothing new to them. Won't eat much clock, but they don't have to be in a huge hurry with those 3 timeouts.
Harrell. Well, the safety valve is hit at the line of scrimmage and is knocked down. That's Eric Childs, beg your pardon, a junior who's out of Arlington, Texas, MacArthur High School.
And now Kansas State needs to feel a little sense of urgency. We haven't seen a blitz out of them for a while. 3rd and 5. You've got your 3 timeouts. I would come after Harrell here. You want to get this ball back. Get the ball back to your offense and see what can happen.
1:22 to play until halftime. 3rd down. They need the 44. The pass on the money. Morris catches it. Steps out of bounds just inside the 40. But he has plenty, enough for the 1st down.
You know, the problem is when you decide to blitz, as Kansas State did that time, you're running one-on-one. And big veteran offensive line. Batch did a nice job, the running back. And it's just so difficult to cover even these little guys. It reminds you of Danny Amendola, who's now...
Eric Morris is even smaller than that,
yes.
And he's out of Shallow Water, Texas, which is just outside of Lubbock. They set up the screen nicely, and the ball is dropped. Batch couldn't hold on to it. They were throwing it back into the boundary. That might have had some pretty good yardage in front of it. I'll tell you who was all over the place. You know, you don't always just mention his name as far as on the play, but just Brandon Harold, number 99, the gigantic freshman. He was the one who coming with pressure that time on the quarterback. He really has a good sense of the game for such a young kid.
They all talk about his maturity, his willingness to do the work, and Ian Campbell, of course, a great role model, 2-time All-Big Ten defender, was all over him trying to get him to be a better player.
Here comes a blitz. Pass in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Lewis. Detron Lewis was trying to make the turn and get back upfield before he had secured it. Well, coming up on the Cooper Tires halftime report, John, Craig, and Doug, and they'll have highlights and scores.
And now Texas Tech, because of those timeouts, they can run something shallow. And if they don't pick up the 1st, use that timeout. They don't have to run something beyond the sticks, because I would assume they'd go for it on 4th down.
Great protection. Drills the ball. Caught by Crabtree. And Crabtree will turn around, lose his headgear, and pick up the 1st down. 5 catches for Michael Crabtree this afternoon. Sophomore out of Dallas Carter.
Great patience by Graham Harrell. Started with offensive line protection. There are short routes, but Crabtree just turns around. He found a little soft spot in that zone, and that was about the 3rd as Texas Tech uses one of their 3 timeouts.
Texas Tech. So Texas Tech is going to use one of those 3 timeouts. 31-14, and they're looking for more.
In the game of life, there are curveballs thrown every day. But it's not the pitch that counts, it's what you do with the pitch. I'm Dan Beebe, Commissioner of the Big 12 Conference. The Big 12 Conference partners with Special Olympics because we share common values like acceptance, courage, and the spirit of competition. So when that curveball does come, always swing for the fences. The Big 12 Conference and Special Olympics, side by side in the game of life.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, we have 51 seconds left in this 1st half. Texas Tech leads 31-14, and they have just picked up a 1st down, and they set up shop with a 1st down at the K-State 30-yard line. Texas Tech, that was their 22nd 1st down in the 1st half.
That's usually good for a game. You'd be happy with about 28 for a game.
Touchdown, Michael Crabtree.
Now the question is, at 37-14, extra point makes it 38-14. You're Kansas State. You've got 3 timeouts. Time to answer. You have to get some kind of momentum. Rossman is a good kicker, but I don't know that you want to be kicking into the wind that they'll be facing. And Josh Freeman has not played well the last 3 series, but I think you come out, you use those timeouts and try to answer this.
Corona with the extra point, and with 44 seconds on the clock, our new score, 38-14, the 7th-ranked Red Raiders. Crabtree makes it look extremely easy.
Nothing but nothing.
It's not as fun when it happens to you. Be a good sport.
Hey, Dorothy, Oz called. They want the bricks back.
Well, another record for the Red Raiders. With that touchdown catch right there, Mr. Crabtree goes in the books, and that equals touchdowns ever at Texas Tech.
2 years. No, excuse me. 2 years, 4 and not quite a half games. It's amazing.
This is with the wind. It's a spinner going to be taken at the 13 by Quarles. And Quarles will be tackled just after he crosses the 25.
Let's take a look at Crabtree working one-on-one against Moore, who's a fine cornerback. And watch how smoothly he breaks to the outside, and as soon as the hips for Moore turn out, that's when he breaks. It's so hard to explain. There's certain receivers who understand, and it's the one-step move. A lot of guys, they have to kind of pitter-patter their feet. Some guys can just stick that one leg in the ground and cut. As soon as that cornerback turns his hips, they just have that innate ability. It's turned, 1 foot, gone. He is so smooth.
He'll go with a running play here. This should be greeted by a chorus of boos. It is.
I think, as I said after the touchdown, you've got 3 timeouts. You're down 38-14. I think that you see if you can't get down there for a close field goal try into the wind or give yourself a couple of shots. Very surprised at how conservative this is.
Well, the clock runs down. We're under 10, so we're getting ready for intermission time. And the locals not real happy. Jack, let's check with you.
Well, with Ron Prince, Coach, the obvious question is, how do you get back in this thing? What do you have to do in the second half?
Well, I think as many passes we dropped on offense, if we catch some of those, we'll have a chance to get back in it. But they're very good, and they're playing very well in defense. They're not giving us anything on offense. So we've got to create some turnovers and then catch the ball.
What about your defense? They've been out there so long. It's more than 20 first downs for Texas Tech. How stretched are they?
Oh, they're very stretched. I mean, the bottom line is there was a period of time in there where we dropped so many passes in a row, the clock didn't burn, and then that put our defense back out there again.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Okay, Jack, our halftime score, 38-14, Texas Tech.